Is a question mark in my mind, Doc.
All right, welcome back everybody to Culz Sports Chat. It's our second episode live, so for anyone watching tonight, thank you for joining us. It's our special Will Levis Extravaganza. I know you see the thumbnail, and we're going to talk all things Will Levis because that was our number one point of conversation. That and the new Georgia Eagles. Or the Philadelphia Bulldogs,
I was
however you
about to
want to
say
go.
Philadelphia Bulldog.
But as usual, my name is Keegan. Joining me from Culz Paranormal is
Matt.
Brendan.
Hi.
Yeah, so you should recognize everyone at least that's on the screen from something. Brendan's been in quite a few. I know Ty's been some of our sports things. So, hey, let's get it started. We'll talk about Will Levis. That'll be our number one talking point. Obviously did not go, I think, where we thought he would go at 23 to Minnesota. Ends up going round 2, pick 2, which is 33, which is usually pick number 1. But because of the Dolphins, he goes to Tennessee Titans.
That just shows you Tannehill's not going to last much longer.
Right? I mean, I feel like at some point
You
this
drafted
season,
Mariota. He's probably the biggest choke in Tennessee. Then you go to
Oh, I
Tannehill.
forgot. Yeah, well, they had Vince Young, and Vince Young did so good that first
I still have his
first couple of
Tennessee jersey.
years. Yeah. I mean, I know someone that's got
He
a
did all
Tennessee
right.
blanket.
Well,
But
as
then
of
he jumped in
now,
that
the-
whole concussion protocol stuff.
Yeah, the head coach came out and said he's the number 3 quarterback on the Titans roster. So we'll see how that goes going into training camp and whatnot.
Will Levis is number 3.
Yes, correct. He said that like the day after he was drafted that he's the number 3 quarterback on the roster.
I mean, I feel like Malik Willis, I thought was better than how he played last year, but Will Levis got to be better than how Malik played last year. I mean,
Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of disappointing to me that he is number 3 because I think he could have a case for a starting spot if it came to a competition. Since Tennessee's always a shakeup. I mean, they've been a running offense for the last couple of years thanks to Derrick Henry.
yeah, speaking of Derrick Henry, we did not see him get traded. He's still with Tennessee, and I know.
Yeah, he's still on the roster. I mean, if he stays on the roster, obviously they're predominantly probably going to turn to running more than passing in that division.
Yeah, because I mean that division, and we'll get to it because I think we'll try to go division by division and break down what we think will happen.
Yeah.
But I figured we'll start off with a team by team breakdown. And so we'll start with Utah since Houston picked first above all of our teams. So tell us a little bit about Houston's draft and what do you think they're going to be doing this year?
Being one of the being the newest team in the league, coming in 2012, having Derek's brother David Carr come in the draft and become a bust. Things have been shaken up ever since. They unfortunately haven't been able to produce a dominant offense, shaking up QBs and this and that. I think, drafting Stroud at quarterback might be promising if we can get a decent wide receiver tight end tandem going. I can't say we're going to win the division. We might give it a run, but even with this draft class, I give it a good year. Maybe have a chance at winning that division next year, but not right now. I think it's between Tennessee and Jacksonville at this point.
Yeah, I mean, Jacksonville, I think, surprisingly, I mean, maybe not surprising to those of us who remember MJD and David Garrard and stuff.
Oh,
but
yeah. Big
definitely going in probably the
Getting
favorites of that division. But yeah, I mean, Houston obviously pulled off the 1-2 punch with pick number 2 and 3 with CJ Stroud and Will Anderson Jr. And then they
It's
addressed some,
definitely a big help for sure.
yeah.
But
Well, and
now that ETN's going to be back, Travis Etienne and Trevor Lawrence are back as a tandem for Jacksonville this season after Etienne tore the ACL last year. It's still a question mark. I can't really predict that division, dude.
right. Well, and they added some other help. You got Juice Scruggs, center from Penn State, Tank Dell, wide receiver Houston, Dylan Horton, edge TCU, Henry Teoto, linebacker Alabama.
Tortuga.
There we go.
Henry
Center Jared
Tortuga.
Patterson, wide receiver Xavier Hutchison, and strong side Brandon Hill from Pittsburgh. So I mean, they
Brandon
definitely
Hill
add.
is going to be a good player. So is Hutchinson.
Yeah, so I think they got a pretty good draft early on, especially with hitting their two biggest needs. And do you think it was a mistake they didn't take Will Levis over CJ Stroud, Ty?
No, not at all. CJ Stroud is a promising quarterback. He was very dominant next to Young in terms of last year's seasons. I think Stroud might actually be the answer at quarterback that Houston needs because he's not a huge quarterback, but he's got the height and the productive weight that he can run and yet pass. He doesn't just rely on the pocket. So I think they made the right choice going there.
Yeah, I was trying to pull up their depth chart to see what they have right now. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I forgot they picked up Case Keenum in the offseason. So you got 4 quarterbacks now: Case Keenum, Davis Mills, EJ Perry, and CJ Stroud.
I almost wonder if they end up cutting Perry though,
I mean,
because
I
I
feel
don't
like
think
they
I
have
don't think
to.
they'll ditch Mills, and Keenum has the veteran presence, so Perry might end up on the practice squad. I think, with the promising quarterback that Stroud is, or is supposed to be, I should say. I think off the top of my head, I think they argue that Keenum might get the start, but he's so inconsistent. I think Stroud might have a chance at starting, but I think Perry. I almost think he doesn't make the cut, dude. I'm skeptical about it. I don't think he makes the cut. I think you're going to stick with Stroud, Keenum, and crew.
Well, and they got some good young running backs. I mean, honestly, last year's pick, one of the hottest fantasy football pickups last year was Damian Pierce. So, I mean,
Pierce should have good second year. So,
and they also added Devin Singletary, one of Brendan's go-to running backs. So, I mean, that should be interesting 1-2 punch, as well as getting Mike Boone. So, I mean,
Boone
building.
and Singletary are big additions for the Houston club, for sure. Time's gonna tell you because all these players got to get that chemistry and get stuff going, dude. I mean, you got to acquire that chemistry and get on the same page with everything going into camp with Lovie Smith and.
Yeah, well,
time's gonna tell you.
Chemistry also comes between Stroud or Keenum or Mills and the receivers. Obviously, Mills probably has a one-up on most of them, having worked with at least like a Nico Collins or some of the wide receivers that were there last year. But I know they got Amari Rogers, Robert Woods, and then Xavier Hutchinson. So
yeah, of course.
Again, Could be different. And you can look at tight end as far as offense goes. We see Andrew Beck pretty much being probably the top tight end. Maybe Mason Schreck at number 2.
I could see that. I mean, stealing Beck from Denver was big for Houston. I think slot wise, yes, he's going to be number 1. But again, time's going to tell you when training camp rolls around July. So I'm not throwing anybody at top spot yet.
Right. Well, let's look at some of the other rosters within that division, and then we'll make a maybe early consensus who we think's winning the AFC South.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously we talked about the Titans earlier with Will Levis. I don't think any of us think he's starting off the year, but he's definitely – I feel like he has to finish off the year at some point.
Yeah.
So with Tennessee, we do see obviously they got Will Levis, Ryan Tannehill, Malik Willis at quarterback, much like we talked about earlier. So nothing new there. I think where it becomes interesting is running back, because really outside of Derrick Henry, we don't see a lot of big name running backs. So
not at all.
You wonder what they're going to do there.
But there's always surprise running backs too. You got to remember that. I mean, look at the Chiefs. It seems like every year they've got a new running back and they do phenomenal.
Right.
Well, yeah, and their wide receiver stuff's going to be questionable too after the Cheetah goes to Miami. I think Edwards-Helaire obviously is going to be the number 1 when he comes to Kansas City, obviously. But
well, and getting back to Tennessee, they also didn't really add a lot wide receiver wise.
Yeah, they did.
You know, we see Traylon Burks, and then we see. I mean, I guess we do see some rookie wide receivers, but not a lot of big names or anything. And then tight end. You know, what are you looking at there as well? So I right now maybe are they lower than Houston?
I mean, if you're going to ask me who's winning the South, depending on health, as long as everybody stays healthy and things look good, I'm going to go Jacksonville, Houston, Tennessee, and Indy. Indy being last. That's just my thought.
I don't know, because Indy, we'll get to him right now.
Yeah.
Because I think consensus Jacksonville probably wins
number
that
1
division.
as long as they're healthy.
Now, Indianapolis, I mean, we got Anthony Richardson.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's going to start this year, and I don't think they drafted him with the thought that he's going to start. Because you also brought in Gardner Minshew, who can easily carry that team. You have Nick Foles as a third. And then you look at running backs. I mean, you still got Deion Jackson, Zach Moss, obviously Jonathan Taylor. So still really, really good there.
Taylor's just got to stay healthy and not get hurt.
Right. Well, in wide receivers, you got Michael Pittman Jr., you got Alec Pierce, Isaiah McKenzie, Vincent Smith. So, again, some pretty good wide receivers. And then tight end, you got Mo Alley Cox, Pharaoh Brown. So, I don't know. I think their roster is more talented than Tennessee. So, I currently out of the 3, I would probably rate Indianapolis, Houston, Tennessee. Honestly, I'm good with my pick right now. Let's say it. Jacksonville finishes first AFC South.
Yeah.
Indianapolis second. Houston third. Tennessee fourth.
I could see that. And like I said with Houston, it's going to be – they're going to take a good year to develop because it's been such a shakeup with injury, loss of stars the last couple of years. You know, it may take them a good year to chase that number 1 spot, if not 2.
Yeah.
I can't tell you that right now they're going to win it. I think, you know, second or third would fit them best right now. There's no way I'm chasing the number 1 spot with Houston right now.
Right. Well, then we'll switch off from talking Houston and journey on to the wild, wild eastern side of America, where they might all be Bulldogs or from Georgia. We're not sure. But Brandon, let's talk about what Philadelphia did during the draft, because not only did they draft some Bulldogs, but they traded for a Bulldog.
I was kind of shocked by the Swift trade, honestly. When he first came into the league, he was one of my fantasy, I wanted him because I knew how he could be. But the last couple of years with his injuries and stuff, I worry about him. But we have some other good running backs that, can fill his spots, and so he doesn't need to be a workhorse. Still kind of wish we got the big, bell cow, but it's okay.
No, and you guys drafted another quarterback, not Will Levis. No, huge disappointment.
That was very shocking that we drafted a quarterback. I was very surprised when I saw that. I thought, why not another offensive lineman or, someone like that?
Well, you might be able to here soon, dude.
Well, it was weird too, because obviously
how you're working with
during off season they're signing Marcus Mariota, who you think is going to be number 2 behind Jalen Hurts.
Extended Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, well, obviously Jalen Hurts is going to be your number 1. You got Ian Book still on the roster, and then you bring in Tanner McKee. I mean, could he even make the roster? Does he end up on practice squad? We shall see. Talking about running backs, obviously they have Rashad Penny, who they picked up in the free agency period. They traded this year for DeAndre Swift, last year for Trey Sermon, and then you still got Boston Scott and Kenneth Gainwell. So quite a crowded running back room, and honestly would not be surprised to see someone cut or traded.
You silly cat.
Right.
Yeah, and then we go wide receivers, still A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, the whole Castle Rock Rams crew going on right there. You got Quez Watkins coming back. Zacharias from the Falcons is coming over. Who else did they get? Tyree Cleveland. So, I mean,
Cleveland's a big pickup, too.
Yeah, still really good wide receivers. Obviously, tight end, they still got Dallas Goedert. So, they should be good. But the problem compared to Ty's division, Brendan's division is a little bit tougher.
Yeah, they're the weak. It's funny to think because they're probably the weakest division in the NFC when it came to it overall.
I don't think so. I think they were probably number 1, if not 2. The only one that might rival them right now is the West.
The NFC West, seriously?
Yeah.
I don't know, because San Francisco obviously right now is picked to win it.
Had they not played a 4-string quarterback, they might have beat Philadelphia in that game.
Yeah, Dallas right now, Dallas.
He was a Georgia Bulldog. You should be happy about that.
Jumping back to the East. Jumping back to the East right now, Dallas, Philly, Dallas, New York. New York, depending on the quarterback position, might have somewhat of a chance at the first place spot if Barkley stays healthy and their wides stay healthy. But the West is always a
2-horse race
mark.
to the East. I'll admit it. It's a 2-horse race. As much as I hate the Cowboys,
Washington stands no chance. I can tell you right now, they're finishing 4th.
I honestly, I might put New York above Dallas.
I'd say Washington, Dallas. At this point, Washington, Dallas, New York, Philly. Philly finishes first this season. If I'm gonna rate it.
I do find it interesting or cool that the Cowboy scout drafted his son.
Oh yeah,
Kansas State. So that is kind of cool.
Yeah,
if they're coming out of K-State,
like,
they
hey,
saw something
come work with
truly.
me.
Coming out of K-State, if they're drafting him, they saw something truly special in him to do it. I mean,
Well, Levis is running back too, so
I know.
back up to Pollard.
Well, in Kansas
Yeah.
City, speaking of K-State, they had to go a long way to go scout them. Driving, how far is that, Brennan? Maybe an hour or two?
Not even. Manhattan's right outside of it.
Yeah, no, I mean, but if you look at the Giants, obviously Daniel Jones played better than I think a lot of people thought. And I think he keeps that up. You got Saquon back. You know, you got Matt Breida behind him. Should still be pretty good. Then wide receivers, you got Jameson Crowder, Paris Campbell, Isaiah Hodgins. Who else we got?
Sterling
Wendell
Shepard.
Robertson, Sterling Shepard,
Yeah.
Darius Slayton, Jeff Smith. And then tight ends, you got Darren Waller. And then let's look at
Don't they
Cowboys.
have... Who's their other tight end?
I think he left.
Oh,
And you really think, I mean, yeah, I guess I could see Washington fourth.
It's something, dude. There's a curse in Washington. There's something about that field. Everybody seems to get hurt.
All right,
Or
so
in 2 years they'll have a brand new stadium, new field, everything.
new
New-
owner.
new name.
Yeah. I think with the new owner coming in, he knows how much
Did you say new
people don't
name?
like it. He could
Yeah.
change it still.
Yeah, no,
I could see Washington get rebranded again.
yeah, they were talking about it. Will the new owner change the name? But yeah, going to Dallas, we obviously Dak Prescott's going to start. Cooper Rush, he can still be good if anything happens.
Dalton Schultz.
Yeah, Dalton
Tight
Schultz
end.
at tight end. Running back, we have Ronald Jones is joining Tony Pollard, and then like Brennan said, Vaughn came in.
Mm-hmm.
Wide receivers, obviously they brought in Brandon Cooks via trade. We got Michael Gallup, CeeDee Lamb, Jalen Tolbert, Antonio Callaway. And
I
then
think Callaway might end up on the practice squad, but I think Lamb ends up number one.
Did you put him back in there?
yeah, and then tight ends. Tight end might be their weak spot. You got
Yeah.
Jake Ferguson, Seth Green, Peyton Hendershot, Sean McKinn, and Princeton Fan.
Being the Cowboys and having that ego is their weak spot.
For the fun of it, let's look at Washington. Even though I think we've all kind of picked them to be fourth, but they have Sam Howell probably starting. Jacoby Brissett can come in if needed. And then at running back, I mean, you got Antonio Gibson still, Brian Robinson Jr. So still good running backs. Diami Brown, Jahan Dotson, Marcus Kemp, Terry McLaurin, Dax Millen.
I
Curtis
think
Samuel.
Gibson and McLaurin are going to be the 1-2. I have to go to it.
Yeah, and then tight end, you got Logan Thomas. So, I mean, I don't
Thomas
know.
isn't a bad tight end. He just can be very inconsistent. So after cutting McKissick, I mean, yeah, I don't know where to go on the running back slot other than those two.
But for our teams, for me personally, I think Philadelphia wins the division. Number 2, I'd say the Giants. 3 Cowboys and 4 Commanders. Ty?
Yeah, I would say Philly. I'd have to agree with you there. Philly, New York, Dallas, Washington, in order. Philly's
think
just
you
got the upper
switch it.
hand with everything right now.
I think you switch Dallas and New York. I think
Dallas
Dallas
ends
has
up
a better
ahead?
defense and a better offense than
I'm
New
going to
York.
agree.
Yeah.
Brendan on that one. Switch Dallas and New York around. I might like to.
So
All right.
Philly, Dallas, New York, and Commanders.
All right, so we got 2 divisions picked. So let's go to the now Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers list division.
NFC North.
NFC North. Now also Will Levis list. Matt, do you want to talk about the Vikings draft?
No, he doesn't.
Oh God, he ran away.
Yeah, dude.
All
After
right.
I don't know, the Vikings are a big question mark to me after Thielen goes to Carolina. So I don't even know where to start with them. I mean, other than Dalvin Cook, obviously we know is number one, but at running back, tight end Hawkinson.
Well, they picked another receiver with another, low 20th pick, so he'll probably be good too to, the Montana Outlaw, Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, agreeable.
Yeah, it was disappointing when they didn't. I thought for sure Vikings were going to go quarterback.
Yeah, it's a whole
Especially
new
when-
outlook on for other teams. It's a whole new outlook on life now that Aaron Rodgers isn't in Green Bay.
Yeah, well, I mean, they were going after the kid
They don't
from
have to crap their pants every
TCU
time they
at
see
wide
the Green Bay
receiver.
logo.
And they obviously didn't get him, so I was like, all right, they'll go, quarterback here, and then they surprised me and went wide receiver.
Yeah. Cousins, I think, has a couple of years left.
This big hunter?
I don't know. I think next year they might have to go quarterback because Cousins is getting up there.
I still think you could see Cousins get traded at some point here. You can still get something for him rather than just letting him walk and go.
Yeah. That's obviously up to the ownership. But I don't know. There's nothing in rumors that he's going to be traded as of now, so time's going to tell you that one too.
Oh, Matt ran away again. I think he is just scared. He heard Aaron Rodgers.
He knows that his Vikings are going to choke. It's finally their chance that they're going to choke.
Whoa.
I think one of the
They ain't
biggest
choking.
social media jokes right now is the fact that Rodgers goes to the Jets and he said, "I'm getting up there in age. I want to go to a team that can win a title."
Right.
Probably the funniest thing ever. Because we all know that Josh Allen and the Bills have that division to themselves right now. So
I don't know about that. We'll get to them. We will get to them.
yeah, eventually.
Round 1 of the Vikings, though, they did get Jordan Addison, wide receiver, USC. Oh, and
He's a good wide and he's fast.
Here, before we get to the Vikings, I did not do this for Philadelphia because we just got so distracted by their Bulldogs. So, yeah, pick 1, Jalen Carter, defensive tackle, Georgia.
Yeah.
Round 1, pick 30, Nolan Smith, edge, Georgia. Oh, look, not a Georgia. Offensive
I'm
tackle,
still shocked.
Tyler Steen, Alabama. Defensive back, Sidney Brown, Illinois. But don't worry, guys. We got another cornerback coming in.
There you go.
Ringo from Georgia. And I think it was about that time they also traded
Ringo,
for DeAndre Swift. So
I'm still shocked. I mean, team-wise, I'm not surprised, but I'm still shocked that Nolan Smith went that late in the draft.
yeah, I don't know why he dropped that low.
I don't either.
I had him going to Philly, but I'm surprised it was that late.
Yeah.
Right? It would have made more sense if it was like number 10. But
could've
obviously
seen
when Jalen Carter was there.
Yeah, I thought at latest Nolan Smith was going to go maybe 15th pick of the second round, but he dropped really low. Like, watching that kind of surprised me.
Right. So back to Minnesota, round 1, pick 23, not Will Levis. So we're going to give that one a 0 out of Will Levis. But it's Jordan Addison.
Topic.
Yeah. We're just going to rate everyone's draft picks 0 to Will Levis. Only one team can get the Will Levis grade. Everyone else can get 9s. So.
Yeah, I don't know.
9 or 10.
Levis, so we even skipped him in the first round too, though. Everyone gets a 0. Zeros all the way around.
Yeah.
Except for
So-
Tennessee.
Well, or the
They
Broncos.
get
The
the
Broncos
roll-ups.
didn't have any draft picks before him, so they really technically didn't pass on Levis.
Oh, don't worry. We'll get to Denver. We'll get to Denver. All right. So stopping looking at the screen like a strange person. But round 3, Vikings were back. They got Mekhi Blackman, cornerback, USC. Then they followed it up with another cornerback, Jay Ward, LSU. Another LSU in defensive tackle, Jalen Roy. And then they picked up a quarterback in round 5, Jaron Hall. And then a running back from UAB, Dwayne McBride. So you did get a quarterback, Matt. Do you think he will make the roster?
I think he has the same chance Kellen Mond has. I mean, in the 6th round, you don't really have solid quarterbacks coming in there except for what Tom Brady, I think, is one of the few that is huge.
Last year's Mr. Irrelevant.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Mr. Purdy in the last pick of the draft.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, outside of that, you got Nick Mullins. So, no, Kellen Mond's not on the Vikings no more, Matt. It's Nick Mullins is your only other competition.
Well, I knew it was Mullins, Mond. It was one of the two.
Also, speaking of non-traded running backs, you guys didn't trade Dalvin Cook. Do you expect them to trade Dalvin Cook?
I can
Good
give that a
question.
major no, dude. He's one of the best running backs in the league. I think if anything, they try to get a cheaper contract out of him and extend him because looking at last year's draft stats, aside from his small injury, or not draft stats, but overall stats, he was one of the best running backs in the league.
Yeah, but don't forget, too, your average age for running back in this modern era of the NFL
Day and
is
age.
you get like 3 or 4 years out of a running back now, and then you're behind the times already. I mean, one guy who's a solid workhorse, Derrick Henry, so hopefully, Cook can become the next Henry and just year after year produce.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's kind of like LT was back in his day. Tomlinson seemed like forever with the Chargers.
Well, and the Vikings are still really good at wide receiver. Obviously, Justin Jefferson, KJ Osborne, and
They
then
picked
Jordan
up a
Addison.
5th-year option, right?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I saw that today or yesterday.
I thought I saw that.
They also got Jalen Reagor. So, I mean, you got some weapons. As far as tight end, obviously, they traded for TJ Hawkinson. So,
Another great Montana outlaw.
I know lots. You know what, Matt? I think Brendan is secretly a Minnesota Viking fan. Look at these outlaws.
I know. He loves them Vikings.
I think Hawk's going to have a career year coming up, though, dude.
Well, kind of looking at his former team, Detroit Lions, I think Detroit had a really good draft. I know I see some pundits being like, they drafted him too high. Well, if that's what they need, what are they going to do? You know?
But they basically replaced Hawk with Sam Laporta in Detroit. So.
Yeah, and I don't know. Sometimes I think the people talking about, teams, maybe they don't watch any footage from college because it's like.
I was not tight end university for nothing, dude.
Yeah. I mean, they got Jahmyr Gibbs, who should be really good. Obviously, him and David Montgomery, pretty good 1-2 punch. Jack Campbell from Iowa. And then
He's going to wreak havoc.
Yeah, going past your Sam tight end pick, we got Brian Brank, cornerback, Alabama. Then they get Hendon Hooker, who a lot of people thought might go 1st round and 3rd round. So, I mean, right there, Jared Goff has any issues, they could maybe put him in.
Mm-hmm.
So I like their draft a lot, and I think this is where it's going to get interesting. Do we think Detroit or Minnesota finishes number 1 in that division?
Yeah,
I think it's a race between one of those two, or between those two.
Brennan, you got to pick. You can't just say one of the two.
Detroit.
Whoa. Matt, how do you feel about that?
Dude, that's a stretch, man.
I hate to say it, but I mean, Detroit looked dangerous last year. They very well could be the top team there. Minnesota is going to struggle this year.
Detroit had one of the highest scoring offenses of the NFL last year. All they need to do is get some defensive weapons, get another edge rusher, and get a halfway decent secondary.
Hey, don't yell at me. I agreed with you. I said we're going to struggle. I didn't say Detroit.
I know. I'm just saying that
Minnesota is going to struggle.
Detroit is not as far-fetched as some others might think.
Do we think Chicago sneaks into this at all, or are they still third?
If Fields can stay healthy, it's a shakeup because that's where it comes down to things. Is Detroit and Chicago tend to deal with a lot of injury in certain ways. So if they can stay healthy, I would say, as funny as it's going to sound, I really think Green Bay has a chance at finishing last. But then I'd say either Detroit or Minnesota first. Chicago sits in second.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean,
it's all on health, dude. I mean, they have Jefferson and Cousins at a 1-2 with Dalvin Cook. I mean, as long as those top three can stay healthy, they have a decent wide, running back wide core. Some new.
For me, I'm gonna have to say Detroit, Minnesota, then Chicago, Green Bay.
Then Green Bay. Yeah, Green Bay's going to take a little bit, I think, to rebuild because you figure Jordan Love's coming in. This is going to be his first career starting season in terms. You have Randall Cobb getting up there in age. I don't know how much he has left.
No, I don't think he's on the team anymore.
I was going to say,
is he a UFA?
1-year deal.
Yeah, he's a free agent. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, if he's gone, then yeah, they're definitely finishing last because Jordan Love's not all that reliable right now. Plus, he was hurt last year, so
they did pick up a tight end in the draft. The Packers did.
Yeah, I know.
I forget who it was, but
did they get for round one wide receiver or a quarterback? Will Levis?
No.
Take
zero,
Will Levis as your
0 out of 10. 0 out of Will Levis.
I think Levis really would have actually benefited Green Bay if they chose to go that route, but
that would have been interesting.
It would have been a shakeup for sure. I mean, he's one of those quarterbacks that you have to have the right system. Like, you can't just expect him to roll the dice and come accustomed to your offense. Like, he's got to have that right system.
Now, Ty, speaking of quarterbacks that need the right system, I'm going to have to hand this one off to Matt. Matt, there's a certain quarterback might have brought some bad luck to the Mile High City. First to Denver, yesterday at the Colorado Avalanche. Do you have any words for Russell Wilson?
Russ.
Yeah, stay the hell out of the Pepsi Center for any other remaining games of any team. I mean, it was actually kind of cool because where we were sitting, we looked up behind us, and Sean Payton and Peyton Manning were sitting up in the owner's box at the top of the stadium. So I was like, great, the Broncos are bringing bad luck to the Avalanche.
Yeah, but
unfortunately, dude, bad luck had nothing to do with it. We were banged up and hurt in every way. We didn't have any chance of playing that right.
At least Peyton Manning. At least Peyton Manning actually.
I'm just trying to look for reasons, Ty. I'm trying not to blame it on the team. Sure.
Reasons that Russell Wilson jinxed in Denver or what?
Yeah.
Russell Wilson did say go Avs. He said go Avs.
He's from Pepsi Center now because the Nuggets don't want him to jinx them.
Yeah, the Nuggets are going to be like, hey,
he didn't say, let's ride Avalanche country.
Let's ride Avs. No, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if Russell Wilson is going to turn it around. I don't know if he's going to be as bad as he was last year. But again, for all the people online that said Russell Wilson gave the Seahawks a Super Bowl, the defense gave him a Super
Oh,
Bowl.
the defense definitely.
Russell Wilson threw the Super Bowl away. Now that we got that out of the
Literally threw it. Didn't want to hand it off to,
if it was a Peyton Manning or a Tom Brady, who he thinks he is, right?
Not even close.
They would have checked out of that play and audibled into something else.
to a run.
Yeah, because you saw there was 2 safeties on the slot receiver Lockett.
Dog, time and time again, it's
Quarterback
proven-
sneak
Lynch
it.
is
People
so big,
prove
he
it.
can fall down and go a yard.
Quarterback sneak it, yeah.
defense.
But he still gets it.
Proven time and time again that defenses win championships. I mean, 13, he had the Legion of Boom behind him, dude. And then look at the Broncos' defense of 15 with Peyton. That defense won the title.
Yeah.
So it's proven time and time again that defense does win championships. Your quarterback's just trying to move you down the field inch by inch.
Well, and I will say, now that we're on the Denver list, I don't think they had a very good draft.
No.
I don't think it was bad, but I think it was
shocker-
average.
Shocker to
See.
me with Denver was Riley Moss, dude. I did not see him coming to Denver, but I think him and Surtain are going to be a good 1-2 punch on defense. But
I think
I'm going to tell you there.
I think Broncos country is going to get super amped up. Me and Matt are going to have to hear it all year, how good Broncos are all year, how bad our teams are all year.
Hey,
And then
at
they're
least
gonna
you
win,
don't
like,
pick
6
teams
games.
anymore, so you don't really hear it that much.
No, and I'm gonna say it now. I think overall, Chargers have a really good chance in this division to finish first over KC with the off season and the draft. Herbert stays healthy. You get Keenan Allen and all these guys going in. I mean, they have a decent chance to win this division. But I think for once, the Raiders could actually finish last. Denver maybe finishes third. KC or LA first. That's a shakeup. I can't say that one.
I mean, I actually feel like Las Vegas had a good draft. Maybe not great, but better than what we're used to them doing.
Their quarterback's just gonna tear his ACL again. Jimmy G sucks, dude.
If he stays healthy, though,
I don't think it matters.
he's better than
because
Russ.
Who did they draft? Did they draft any defensive stars? Because their problem with Derek Carr
Tyree
wasn't
Wilson.
Derek Carr. They never had a top 20 defense. They always had with Derek Carr, they always had a lower defense of the league. So their problem really wasn't him. How many they blew like 3 big double-digit leads.
Last year.
One of them to the
I mean,
Cardinals.
yeah, they have.
How the hell do you blow a 20-point lead to the Cardinals?
It's the Raiders. It's the Al Davis jinx, dog.
Yeah, so
that team that
they have
says,
Khalil
"Hold
Mack,
my beer,
right?
Here we go."
So they drafted Tyree Wilson, edge out of Texas Tech. Then
That's
tight
a
end
good
Michael Meyer out of Notre Dame.
To
Defensive
replace
tackle
Morrow.
Brian Young out of Alabama. Trey Tucker, wide receiver, Cincinnati. Jacorian Bennett, cornerback, Maryland. Aiden O'Connell, quarterback, Purdue. You got Christopher Smith II from Georgia. Oh, no, Brendan, a Georgia player. Amara Burney, linebacker, Florida. And then defensive tackle, Nessa Jade Silvera.
Yeah,
So-
it's going to take a couple years for them to all acclimate, I think. I mean, Bennett was supposed to be one of the best coming out of the draft, but it's going to take them a couple years to build that defense. Everything for Vegas right now rides on the offense between Josh Jacobs, Adams. Now they're having to replace Moreau. I mean, yeah, they have Darren Wallen. Obviously, he's, top 5 in the tight end category in the NFL.
He left. He got traded to New York.
Wallen did?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
He's in the Giants.
Yeah.
That'll give them a chance at that division, then.
But no, I think 1, Kansas City, 2, LA Chargers, and then 3 or 4 is a toss-up. Do you trust
3 or 4 is
Russell
just a question
Wilson
mark.
and the Broncos offense, who was one of the worst offenses of all time, or do you trust the Vegas defense? So I think that's where 3 and 4. Matt,
And you
what do
just
you
need to
think?
combine the
I
two
would have to say the Denver offense over the Vegas defense. After adding Samije from Cincinnati, to have him as another big running back with Williams, and having Gordon leave.
Yeah, but you can't run it all the time, or Russ.
No, I
Yeah.
know.
He didn't like that.
I know you
so
can't.
he's going to have
But
to
then
pass.
we still have, we have Judy, we have Surtain, Sutton, 3 prominent, as long as they're healthy, wide receivers. Tight end, yes, it can be a question at times, but we need Tim Patrick to stay healthy. We just need a healthy roster without her getting hurt in training camp. And we can play decent. Yeah. We knew bringing Russ in wasn't going to flip a Vegas coin toss and bingo bango, we're number 1. That's what
I've got
I think
Denver,
that's how the
Denver
Bronco
going
country
third.
did.
I think Bronco Country was decorating the next Super Bowl parade, Matt.
That's like your Toronto Maple Leafs, huh?
Yeah,
Win the
they were
first round and
definitely
you think they're
prepping
going to
for
the Cup.
the Super Bowl. I mean, good God, when Russ first came and Nathan Hackett, it was like, oh my God, this team's winning the Super Bowl. It's like, how? You got 1 quarterback, that's it.
I know Denver, the news was
Gone
like
with it.
showing where Hackett signed or interviewed for the job. They're like, he sat in this booth right here. This is where it happened.
Well, if you go talk to that restaurant, they had sales through the roof months afterwards, and people wanting the same exact meal Hackett had. Like, they even named it after him. But I think they went back to the original now that he's not here anymore. But, I mean, the
They can
restaurant got a lot of publicity from it.
They can just call it the Peyton or whatever. And then they won't know who it's for. Is it Peyton Manning, Sean Payton? All right, what's another? Oh, maybe the toughest division in football. Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati,
Cincinnati.
and last place Cleveland Browns.
Well, since he picked up their 5th-year option with they picked up the option on Burrow's contract. P. Ryan departed to Denver. They still have Jamar Chase, obviously. He's part of your squad, isn't he, Kay?
As far as fantasy,
Yeah,
Chase.
I like Jamar.
But who
That
knows
might
what
be a
could
little
happen in Joe
shakeup.
Mixon.
Cleveland's always a question mark because you don't know who the reliable quarterback's going to be.
Well, it has to be
Baltimore-
Deshaun until they pay off his $200 million contract.
240 mil. What a joke.
He played terrible. They are
I know.
4th place for me. Easy. Cleveland fans, I'm sorry, but you're finishing 4th. From there, it's kind of tough. I think I'd put Pittsburgh 3.
I would go Cincy and Baltimore are going to separate by 1 game. Both
I
those
think
teams have a
Cincy
chance.
wins it.
Me too.
So Cincy, and then my fave, Lamar Jackson. Let's go Cards.
Yeah, as long as J.K. Dobbins can stay healthy on the run side too. That's a big thing for them.
Yeah, so I think Baltimore 2. Now Pittsburgh did do really well in the draft. I think a lot of teams I think had pretty solid drafts. So
The 1-2 connection on offense with
order.
Pitt though is going to be Kenny Pickett and Deontay Johnson. As long as Johnson stays healthy.
Well, and hopefully Najee Harris can
Najee is a big running back, and
find his groove and actually show up. I
Yeah,
think he was
he had a
missing
tough
a
year
good
last
portion
year.
of last year.
But he had a really rough year, dude.
Sophomore slump.
Because we know obviously it's going to be for Cincinnati. It's going to be Burrow, Chase, and Joe Mixon as 1, 2,
Maybe.
3.
Maybe Joe Mixon.
Yeah, maybe.
Legal issue pending.
Fantasy football team in. We we got to live stream the draft. That would be fun. Our draft.
That would be fun. Sometime.
Well, let's go to another kind of tough division to pick, and maybe for the opposite reason. We don't know who's going to be good. And that is Carolina Panthers, who had the number 1 overall picked. Obviously, Bryce Young.
Panthers, Saints.
Yeah, Tampa Bay
Falcons,
Buccaneers
Bucks.
with what's his face? Baker Mayfield. You got Atlanta Falcons, maybe sneak to number 1, and then New Orleans Saints. I don't know. Ty, what do you think?
Talking 1 to 4. Who goes
1 to 4.
Finishes where? Ay. Now that Brady's out of the game, Tampa's got a new QB coming in. Thielen going to the Panthers. It's a tough call. That one is literally like shuffling a deck, dude. It's going to be hard to call until we can see how training camp goes and where things go. I think Tampa still has a chance to finish first. Again, it's a tough, what can be weak or strong division depending on their starting sides. But if Winston can stay healthy with the Saints, Saints have a chance to win it. I would probably go right now in New Orleans, Tampa, Carolina, Atlanta.
So you think Jameis Winston is going to start over Derek Carr?
No, but he needs to. I mean, it's New Orleans. It's always a shakeup. Nobody knows. I don't think he will, but who knows?
I'm more just interested to see if Michael Thomas actually plays.
Right?
Plays and doesn't get hurt.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say Atlanta finishes number 1.
Okay.
And now they're only number 2 for worst jerseys because we'll get to number 1 later.
Your division?
They've moved up. They've moved up. They are no longer the worst. Second.
You're saying Arizona's the worst, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. The Rams are pretty bad.
The Rams have gotten better since they went to their blue.
Yeah, I like that royal blue.
Or that white or whatever.
The gray is pretty close to one of the worst jerseys I've ever seen. Until I saw Arizona, but we'll get to that. Terrible jerseys. So I will say, let's see, Atlanta, New Orleans, Tampa Bay. No, I don't like that.
You really think Carolina finishes last?
Atlanta, Carolina, New Orleans, Tampa Bay.
I can see that. Again, I'm not going to say any. I'm not going to.
Carolina's had a lot of shakeup. We see some Montana Outlaws coming in the fold. I know Brendan was sad that they couldn't go to Minnesota. Speaking of Minnesota, Matt, who do you think wins this division?
This division, I think Saints win it.
All right, so we are all not a consensus this time.
And again, nothing's going to be dead center until we see training camp and see how the rosters look, dude.
Well, I think you said it the best, Keegan, and to begin the conversation of this division of, there's so many unknowns that it's hard to pick this one. Because, you got new head coaches, you got new quarterbacks, so it'll be interesting.
And now we're going to go to the division home of the worst jersey in the NFL, the NFC West.
Those awful Seahawks jerseys.
No, they're nowhere near those. But we will start with Seattle. I mean, I got to talk. I thought they had a really good draft. When we got to pick 5 and they took Devin Witherspoon, I was really excited. I thought it was going to be Jalen Carter. He's a really good player. We just don't know what's going to happen with the legal stuff. And now they're building the secondary, kind of looking Legion of Boom like. It's not going to be Legion of Boom like. I don't want no one to think that, because that was 4 years of the number 1 defense in all 4 categories.
And the only player that's left there is B-Wag signed back again.
I know Bobby Wagner's back, and then they brought in Jackson Najigba, who's going to be, he's going to be their 3rd wide receiver, and that's going to be really good, because I was looking at DK, Tyler Lockett. With
the Witherspoon's supposed to be pretty promising coming out of Illinois, though.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Russell Wilson. Also, thank you, Russell Wilson. We got edge Derek Hall.
Another promiser.
From Auburn. Running back Zach Charbonnet, which was kind of a surprise to me. I didn't know they were going to go running back, but I guess they need a backup with Walker. Then we did get a guard, Anthony Bradford. We got defensive tackle Cameron Young, defensive end Mike Morris. And we got some other players, including Jarek Reed II from New Mexico, who I thought that me and Matt maybe saw during our New Mexico University of Wyoming game, but I have not looked into that. I should. And then they picked a Georgia player, because I guess all our teams need Georgia players now.
Walker's a big dude, isn't he?
Yeah, Kenneth Walker.
Yeah.
I kind of want to see now. Did me and Matt see Jarek Reed? Like, I will go look at the film again. Let's see. Where do you think I could find when he played? There we go. It said Reed led the team 89 tackles while starting all 12 games in 2021. So, Matt, we probably did. Pretty excited now.
Give me 1 second, guys. I'm in the middle of something, but I'll be right back.
Okay. So, I mean, that's pretty cool. Oh, the Rams. What did you guys think about their draft?
Can't say good, but can't say bad. I'm 50-50 on it.
50-50?
Yeah.
Didn't they take a quarterback?
Oh, yeah, Mr. Bennett.
Oh, yeah.
He's their new backup. I mean,
Backup, I mean, you can't complain when you're a backup to a Super Bowl champion in Stafford either.
well, and considering how Stafford's been looking, he might start at some point this year.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully Stafford's back's better.
Right. Arizona Cardinals, they had a decent draft, but those jerseys give them an F. We're going to say Arizona had the worst jerseys and worst draft because they had to show those jerseys off. Brendan, do you agree? When you looked at Arizona, did you ever think they were going to be home to the worst jerseys in the NFL?
We all knew it was coming at some point, but we never knew when. And now we see it.
Like, if you picked up a DoorDash delivery bag and painted numbers on it, that's pretty much the Arizona Cardinals jerseys.
Pretty accurate.
Sorry about that.
Honestly, I forgot that the Cardinals were releasing new jerseys, and I thought it was the Falcons re-releasing jerseys.
There's a Dan in here. Dan, we were just trying to get a consensus here. Do you think if you took a DoorDash delivery bag and painted a number on it, it would look like the Arizona Cardinals jersey? That is a yes.
Those jerseys are the laughing stock of the NFL for sure.
I would have to say the NFC West, considering they have the Rams gray, terrible looking uniforms, worst division for jerseys.
I'm curious to see. So San Francisco's bringing back the gold and red jersey.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious to see how they're going to look.
Well, I think Seattle's bringing back their throwbacks too. So
You mean
The
the old
Eagles are
blue?
going back to the Kelly Green uniforms and their Kelly Green helmet.
Oh, the old school Eagle?
Yeah.
I saw that.
So Dan is here. We'll have him do some draft roundup.
Sorry,
Obviously,
I'm
I
always
mean, it's fine. We just gave the Arizona Cardinals an F for their draft because they have terrible jerseys. The Titans did get the Will Levis grade, so the highest you can get. How do you feel about the Miami Dolphins not drafting Will Levis?
it's kind of disappointing. No. I would have actually been I kind of didn't want that to happen because I'm still rolling with Tua. But from a Will Levis standpoint, I'm very disappointed we didn't draft Will Levis. I thought he would still be there, you know.
Right, in round 2.
Round 2, pick 54, our first one. I was shocked he wasn't still there.
I mean, and look how cool he's looked all his career from high school up to sitting in the draft room to getting drafted. Like, he was yelling and shouting. Plus, he's a Kentucky Wildcat, so
That quarterback has been on TV more than any other quarterback in NFL history.
No.
What was another big talking point? Oh yeah, Brendan's team just became the Philadelphia Bulldogs. How do you feel about this?
So, who'd they get? DeAndre Swift?
DeAndre Swift,
They drafted
Jalen
3 Georgia Bulldogs and then
traded for one.
for another one.
Yeah.
So now they're the Philadelphia Bulldogs.
Nolan Smith is going to be your number one out of that draft because
I don't know.
he's supposed to be
Carter's pretty
explosive.
good.
I mean, if you guys would have gotten Stetson Bennett, then I would have really committed to it. Maybe if the Rams cut him, you could pick him up because I think he is the most Georgia quarterback ever.
No, we have the Georgia defense and the Alabama offense.
You got
Georgia
Alabama
national
offense.
defense, Alabama national offense.
You've got the national championship, honestly.
Oh yeah, because you have Devontae, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just got to remember you got to take out Jalen Hurts out at halftime in case you're losing.
Yeah, see, their offense only has one Georgia player, DeAndre Swift. But now let's see what their defense has.
5.
Hey, and remember, Hurts is more Oklahoma. He had more success at Oklahoma.
Right.
Yeah, before his transfer.
Yeah, five defenders. I mean, it's pretty good. So what we did, Dan, is we picked what we thought would happen in different divisions. We haven't gone over the Dolphins yet. We started with Houston's division. How do you think their season plays out as far as 1, 2, 3, and 4?
Oh, damn, it's kind of not a good division. I think if Tannehill remains the starter, you have to say the Titans are first. Who am I forgetting? I've got the Jaguars, right? No, the Jaguars have to be number 1.
As long as Lawrence and ETN stay healthy, being.
Our consensus with Jacksonville is still number 1, so we're good there.
Jags 1, Titans 2. Unless the Colts are good, but I'm still gonna say Titans 2. With Tannehill starting like a few games and then going into the Will Levis era. But I don't know. We might have to wait for the Will Levis era.
I mean, you put Will Levis in there. It's a Super Bowl team.
Trade Tannehill to the Vikings.
What's going to happen with Malik?
I think he gets
We'll
cut.
go back to the USFL.
Before it folds again.
Getting cut. I feel like they're gonna pull a Josh Rosen on him, and he's just kind of done with the Titans.
Trade him to Miami.
No, I honestly think the quarterback that he kind of reminds me of, just absolutely sucking, despite a little bit of draft hype, but then sliding till later, is Pat White.
Shot.
Pat White did nothing in the NFL, and I feel like Malik Willis will do nothing in the NFL. No team is going to give him a shot.
Basically, he's going to be the next NFL bust as a quarterback.
Yeah, but he's not really a bust. He's a third-round pick. You know.
Yeah, he's not Paxton Lynch.
Fails, but
Yeah, he's not Paxton Lynch.
Yeah, and then we went to
who was Elway or Chad Kelly? He's not a Chad Kelly.
or Brock Osweiler for that matter.
Or Brady Quinn.
Brady Quinn is another
Chad
one.
Kelly, I don't think got drafted, did he? I thought he was undrafted.
Maybe, but he still sucked for y'all. Broncos, I mean.
Yeah, don't lump me in with the Russell Wilson team.
My bad. And then the other thing is, who's another Jay Cutler kind of didn't work out for the Broncos either.
No, but he did well for Chicago.
Jay Cutler is the ultimate playing for orange NFL teams.
Miami, Chicago, Denver.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Do you know that you just mentioned Brock Osweiler? You know the fun fact about Brock Osweiler?
What?
He is he's undefeated against the Chicago Bears. He has never lost against the Chicago Bears.
So what you're saying is like Minnesota, bring in Brock Osweiler.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, he's gone now, but when he was with Denver, he beat the Bears. When he was with Cleveland, he beat the Bears.
Mm-hmm.
And when he was with Miami, he beat the Bears. He never played for the Texans, but had he played for the Texans, he would have probably beaten the Bears had they played.
He was pretty much a bench warmer as a Texan, wasn't he?
I think they traded it.
No, he started, but then they traded him year 2
and
with draft picks to get rid of him.
And then didn't they draft Watson after that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then we know that history. Watson got a massage after that.
Yep.
A few massages. He must have had a really sore back. Okay, so after the Titans, I think the Colts, and then the Texans.
Okay.
I think rookie year for Bryce Young might be similar to Trevor Lawrence's rookie year because he's got a defensive coach.
You mean CJ Stroud?
And who's a Texans receiver?
Well, you mean CJ Stroud though?
Stroud is the only.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, CJ Stroud.
Except I don't think they're going to go 1-16 for that matter.
Okay, but who's a receiver for the Texans? Who's an offensive weapon for the Texans?
You got Nico Collins, Robert Woods. Who else do they have?
They had Cooks, but he got traded.
Wait, Brandon Cooks got traded? What?
He's not
Again?
in Houston anymore.
No, he's making a joke because he always gets traded. There's like that stretch where.
Oh yeah, he's like, call him a traveling man, dude. He goes here, there, and everywhere. I mean, he's been what? He's been a Ram. He's been a Texan. He's been.
I gotta ask my Alexa. Alexa, how many times has Brandon Cooks been traded?
Oh God.
From BoAngeles.com. Cooks has been traded 4 times in the last 5 seasons.
4 and 5.
That's pretty sad, dude.
4 and 5.
Jeez.
4 plus 5 is 9.
Just in case you didn't know that, 4 plus 5.
Happy to help.
4 times in 5 seasons. Poor
was waiting.
guy. But like he still holds value.
Yeah.
Poor
No.
guy might as
so-
well not unpack his luggage bags, dude.
Yo, has
Right.
this guy ever been a free agent?
Momentarily, he was a free agent for a couple months.
Then he went to Houston, right?
Yeah. I think he was a free agent for 2.5 months, actually.
So who's he on
Something
now?
like that.
Dallas.
And Dallas is probably using him.
Prize number 2, yeah.
Yeah, because are they keeping?
CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Cooks, you think? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Well-
who's their other guy?
I guess Michael Gallup, and you put
Yeah, Michael
Cooks in the
Gallup.
slot.
He's kind of mid.
I mean, the Cowboys are mid. I picked them to finish 3rd in that division.
Dak Prescott is the most Cowboys he's perfect for the Cowboys. He's the most Cowboys quarterback there is. Dak
So now that we're talking about the Cowboys,
Uh-huh.
what do you think about that division, Dan? I mean, we got Georgia Bulldogs in there. We got Dallas Cowboys.
I think the Washington Redskins Commanders football team will be second after the Eagles in that division.
Okay.
Okay,
That might
and
be
then
fair.
I picked Giants second.
true. But do you think Daniel Jones will throw for more than 16 touchdown passes?
If he
Now
doesn't
with,
get hurt, maybe.
with a better tight end, yeah.
106. Who's their tight end?
Darren
Ingram?
Waller.
Oh, Waller. Do they
I
still
don't
have
know. He and
Ingram?
Waller could form a connection, though. I mean, that might be something.
Oh, I forgot. I keep saying Ingram. Ingram is on the Jags.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if we can get Daniel Jones to 22 touchdowns, like 7 or 8 picks, they could still be number 2. I honestly think the Eagles are so overhyped. I'm glad he's not in here. But I think the Eagles are overhyped. I'm so glad they lost the Super Bowl.
Don't you mean the Kelsey Bowl?
Yeah. The Kelsey Bowl.
So,
I heard they've got another brother. Maybe he'll join the NFL.
right. Where would he go, though?
I don't know.
And then we went to the now Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers division.
Well, I just can't. Did you see Jordan Love got an extension?
Yeah.
What else do they have to go on?
No, but I'm just hoping that Jordan Love has a super long career with the Packers, and then he can join the Jets after like 10 more seasons or something.
2038, I think, is what the consensus was.
Yeah, Jordan Love to the Jets. Mark it down. After a Hall of Fame career with the Packers, of course.
So we picked the Packers number 4.
For their division, for the NFC North?
North.
Yeah, I would say so. I think the Lions are on the come up. But I could see Lions 2. I could see Lions 1, Minnesota
There we
2.
go. Consensus.
Lions 1, Minnesota 2.
Bears 3,
Bears
Packers
3.
4.
But maybe the Bears 2. Maybe the Minnesota goes to 3.
I mean, depending on how the offense for Chicago gels and the defense, I could see it.
They just need Fields to be able to not have to be the running back and the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So and then the NFC East, I can see Giants too, but again, that division's pretty even.
Well, then we jump to a division where it's like 50-50. Two
Okay.
good teams, two bad teams. Do you have a guess?
Oh, NFC
AFC.
West.
No, it's AFC.
Okay, but I thought you were gonna say Cardinals, Seahawks, Giant, 49ers, Rams.
Oh, we'll get there. But we jump to the AFC West where Matt said to keep Russell Wilson out of any future Denver games going forward.
What? So whatever happened with Sean Payton smoking the bong?
I don't know if it's been confirmed that it was Sean Payton smoking a bong, but it definitely looked like Sean Payton.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
I know you were looking for that on draft night. You said any gas mask, so we didn't have that, but we did have a bong.
but I mean, if that was Sean Payton, I am gonna put down that he is trading for Laramie Tunsil. Laramie Tunsil has had his time in Houston now, and I could definitely see him moving to the Broncos.
Okay.
Who's the Broncos left tackle?
Ty.
Yeah.
Who's the left tackle, Denver?
Oh, they just flexed him there. It's I gotta look up his name. I always forget it. Hold on.
Okay, and then whatever happened to that former Dolphin lineman from Tennessee? Is he still on the Ravens?
I think so. Oh yeah, I forgot the Broncos got Jarrett Stidham. I forgot about that.
You talking about you're thinking of Garrett Bowles, huh?
Oh,
Garrett Bowles is a starting left tackle.
I don't. Yeah, I don't even know who that is.
He gets a lot of penalties.
Stidham,
And they're almost always holding. No shocker.
Stidham didn't stay with the Raiders.
No, he went to Denver.
Well, they traded for him for picks, didn't they?
I think he should have stayed with the
Vegas.
yeah.
So, who do you think wins that division? And do you trust Denver's offense more or the Raiders' defense more?
Who's winning that division? Oh, the Chiefs. Sorry, that was easy. Okay, so second. Who? So it's Chiefs, Broncos, Raiders, and
Chargers.
okay.
Herbert and Chargers.
Think about the Chargers. Chargers. If they have a bad season, Brandon Staley will be fired mid-year.
I mean, they seem to do really, they seem to do pretty well as long as.
Until the playoffs, right?
What's that?
They do just fine until the playoffs.
Until they need to tie the game.
Oh yeah.
The big thing is Eckler needs to stay healthy for them. Keenan Allen, obviously. And as long as Herbert's on his game, they might do okay. It really depends. A lot of the time, it's the coaching staff that chokes on major nuts.
I think Chargers are second, Denver third, Raiders fourth, but I could see him jumping Denver because Denver is, if Russ plays like he did last year, fourth. And then we went to another strong division. Baltimore game, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, or the last place Cleveland Browns.
On paper, the Browns should be good, and that division should be insane.
But in reality, Cleveland is terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And then we jump to the NFC West, which is where you were jumped in, where we were talking about the worst jerseys in the NFL, Arizona.
From the best jerseys in the NFL, maybe, to the worst. Why they decided to rebrand, nobody knows. What I really used to like about their old uniform was the cardinal on the back.
Mm-hmm. I think it still has it. But that's about the only design the new Cardinals jersey has. It looks like they deleted the file and then they were like, just throw some paint on this jersey.
Pretty much.
Like
Well, speaking of new looks, what do you think the Broncos' alternative helmet's going to look like?
their white helmet.
Yeah.
White helmet with the old Broncos D.
You think it's the old D? Not a retrofitted D with the modern look to throw some crazy
From what
look
I
into
saw,
it?
it's the old school like Orange Crush helmets were, especially and the color rush. It's just a white version of that. So it's basically just an outline D with the horse, and then blue in the middle. From what I saw,
All right. Well, and I still think they're going to go through a
be the
uniform change
modernized
next
version.
year.
But I think if they're gonna do a white, they need to go with the old school.
Worst jerseys. What are your
Cardinals.
5 worst jerseys? I mean, I think one is Cardinals.
That
Saints.
I feel like USFL has nicer uniforms. The Dallas Renegades have a nicer uniform than the Tennessee Titans.
That's what social media says.
Yeah. The Houston Roughnecks have a nicer uniform than the Houston Texans.
Well, maybe when the XFL folds, they can take some of the jersey designs.
Also, Houston has a team in the XFL and the NFL and the USFL. Do you know that?
If you want a fun fact, the Castle or Douglas County Dolphins jerseys were designed after the Atlanta Falcon jerseys.
I knew
The new
that.
ones?
No, the ones I only know this because I designed them, and then they said me and my dad designed them when I was there, and they were like, no. And then the year we left, they put them in place with our dolphin logo and everything. Like
I remember y'all have had that. I remember.
like I still have with our dolphin logo on the side that we made.
Oh, the pinstripe look.
Yeah, this was
That's
just
cool.
a custom one we had, but then we were just like, which ones do you like? And I was like, Atlanta, so we designed them off of that.
Huh. Interesting.
Okay, real quick, who is the ultimate Douglas County Dolphins best player of all time?
Brendan.
Christian McCaffrey.
I don't know if McCaffrey played. I mean, I went to Ed McCaffrey's camp, and I know they were there, but I don't know if he. No, he did play in the Dolphins. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, no, he's got that video of him in a DC Dolphins. Also, why were they called the Dolphins for the Little League?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Just fit the bill, basically.
but anyways, there's that famous video of him running for a touchdown at Mile High.
See, now the bigger question is, now that we got someone else on the line, who had the better MVP performance in an HFL championship game?
Me, of course. Duh, I was the first one.
You were not the first one. My dad was when we played across from the Hamilton house.
Oh,
I
come on.
never played. We never. I never played against you. You were. I guess you had moved to Texas when I started playing.
I know Dan is gonna fly out so he can play in an all-star game against you. We'll get Kai. We'll get Brian. We'll get some flags so we can do the Brian rule.
What is
I
the
like
Brian
this. Let's
rule?
do it.
Remember the Brian rule was when you had to wait for my brother to set up the downs before you went,
The Brian rule.
and then Brian went and he got penalized. It was like first and goal from like his own 5, and he like walked off. Remember, he was like sitting by the tree,
Yeah, like upset.
and he was like trying to fight Kai.
My
And we're like,
favorite
"Don't
game
do it,
was the
don't
one
fight
where
Kai."
we played it at DCCV. Sorry,
Oh
no,
yeah,
at the CV middle school field. Remember that game?
I do. We should have like a all-star game.
Yeah, I need to come and stay in all these fancy places in Castle Rock. My friend Wade, you probably know who that is.
That played.
Yeah, he's telling me that they're doing the smart city in Castle Rock.
Well, I think that's what the Miller's Landing, that like
Yeah.
big city one. I think that's what that's supposed to
He
be.
says it's like 3M, Intel, whole bunch of companies. But yeah, no, I'm sure has there ever been an HFL game at Philip S. Miller Park?
No.
Wow.
No.
The best place in the entire area to play, and there's never been a game there. Yes,
Okay.
bro, send that to me.
Look at that action shot.
That's the greatest photo of all time, bro.
Oh, remember this catch by Brian?
Yes, that one too.
Hold on, I was gonna see.
That Adam kid, I haven't not spoken to him in years.
I mean, if you want to see a real throwback, look at that. There's Brandon running for a touchdown.
God, that was so long ago.
Oh, there's my dad like picking off a ball.
No, there's some action shots of me too. Some shirtless ones.
Trying
Those were the days.
find some more of Dan.
And then
Here's the one of like Kai getting in.
oh yeah. Who's another alumni? Jake Russell.
Yeah.
He's another alumni.
Yeah, we should get the whole group back together. We'll do the Door Memorial Bowl again, and because that was the last time the first time we did the Aldor Memorial Bowl.
You're gonna have names like Verlander, Pandolfi.
Oh yeah, we do need to get Pandolfi. I mean, look at this action shot.
Oh, I remember him.
Yeah.
Damn, dude, he is Roger Staubach all the way right there. Tell you what.
No, Keegan, I'll promise you this though. When I have like a son and stuff, we'll definitely do it again in the future. In like, I don't know how many years, but we will do it again someday.
Here we go. The captain has arrived, Matt. And then Scotty.
You know,
Hey, get Scotty back.
I haven't changed one bit. I would go set up that and go play at the park. I've got a new ball. Let me show you the new ball.
I don't know what this pick is, Dan.
I'll show you the new ball.
Oh, look at this action pick.
Ready to go. Ooh. using the forearms and the chest, but no I don't know. No hands. Do you think I'm
Look at that
surprised
offensive lineup.
after Michael Vick got in trouble, I'm surprised nobody picked up the Rollins football
Design.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Was that the biggest turnout?
I don't know. That was when it was Mike Pandolfi versus Matt Galenza.
Wait, show that picture again. I gotta make the screen bigger.
Why did
Oh,
you
that
do
was a big turnout. There was a lot of people that day.
Well, the Super Bowl that year. Hold on, where'd it go?
I remember I got some really black. I used to play barefoot for some reason, but one of the days we played and it was hot.
Mm-hmm.
The turf was so hot, and I was still playing barefoot.
Nah, let's plan it. Aldor Memorial Bowl. Dan will come out. We'll kidnap Brendan. He'll come out.
When's it? It's got to be. I could make it happen in August.
That could be doable. Brendan, can we kidnap you in August? Matt said we could send Andrew. It would be really quick.
Yeah, he'll be back before the evening's over.
Yeah, no.
Maybe.
You
Depending on when in August.
got to do it in August. I'll come visit. I'll come visit all my friends that I haven't seen since 2016.
You guys should just all come to Wakini and, you know.
No.
Oh, yes. The Outdoor Memorial Bowl live from Wakini, Kansas. But, Brendan, we're already coming out there. Me and Matt and Sam signed you up. So
Perfect.
I heard Wakini has a lot to do if we did come out there, though.
It does. Yeah. You can build sandcastles
In
You know.
in what, the sand?
in the dirt and
Oh, don't worry, Brendan.
play in the fields. You can act like a deer hopping through the field, prancing through the. Yeah, you can reenact Children of the Corn.
Was it filmed there?
No, but Twister took place in Wakini.
Oh, cool. Hey, Twister
You could
2
all
come
be,
down.
we could reenact.
No, we got to. Yeah, we're doing Dazed and Confused in Oakley, though. Dazed and Confused in Oakley. At the bowling alley.
Yo, set it up for August. Who's everyone that would need to fly in?
I mean, we're sending Andrew to pick up Brendan, so that's like a 2-hour car ride.
Okay.
Round trip for Andrew.
Damn, where is Andrew?
He's coming from Castle Rock.
So who would we still be waiting on?
I mean, Matt, we'll get Sam.
Where's Kai?
I saw Kai the other day. I saw on his Facebook that he's expecting.
Dude, if that happened, I would be the oldest rookie in the league ever. I've not played yet, so.
Oh, and then Matt will get Mike Pandolfi. We'll go talk to
There
his
we go.
mom.
Yeah, we'll get Ben Dolphy back.
Hey, Kai is in Castle Rock?
I don't know if he lives in Castle Rock or if he was just visiting, but I did run into him in one of the King Supers. One of our 3 that we have now.
Pandolfi's in Castle Rock. He lives in the Meadows.
No, I meant Kai.
Oh, I don't know about Kai.
And then we'll get Sam. Brendan, should we get Amber Dorr?
Oh, of course.
She was like the leading rusher for a while in the Super Bowl.
Wade will come out.
All right, look at this. We got a turnout.
Wade will come out.
All right. But before we end off, because we've talked about most of the divisions except for one, a Will Levis-less division, including the New England Patriots, who now have one more Louisville Cardinal than I had expected them to have. We have the New York Jets, who are on Green Bay quarterback number 2. We have the Buffalo Bills, who have a University of Wyoming alumni. Me and Matt saw lots of University of Wyoming Josh Allen jerseys, as well as Buffalo Bill Josh Allen jerseys. And then we got Dan's Miami Dolphins.
The Miami Dolphins, who have a secret weapon that nobody saw or remembers we signed, Braxton Berrios.
Well, no one remembers because all the Dolphins have CTE.
Wow.
Hey, another comment like that, and I'll send Richie Incognito over to your house to bully your ass.
Jeez. Did not know we were going this way.
Here.
Or you guys can go smoke weed with.
Well, they're talking about Joe Pavelski. He got leveled by Matt Dumba against Minnesota.
So, Dan,
And put
real
out.
quick before we get to these rankings, did you, going into the Chad Pennington era, did you feel pretty good? Because he did pretty good.
Yeah, no, I did. I was feeling it for a little while.
The Bills are still taking the division. Dolphins will come in second and be a playoff team.
Matt, just because you have him on the
Dolphins are overrated.
no, Matt has a certain quarterback on his team. I know what he's
Josh
doing.
Allen's throwing for 58 touchdowns this season.
Oh, speaking of which, Matt, you ready for the next homecoming game? I'll try not to cut my hand again and bleed all over.
Yeah, for sure. Or any other game that isn't going to be frigid temps would be great.
It wasn't too bad that night, was it?
No, when the wind picked up towards the end, it was. And then that one before we had the snowstorm that began right as they were leaving.
We just learned a valuable lesson. Do not go to the Taco Bell.
Well, yeah, for sure.
How many
Go to
head
the next
coaches
town over.
has DC had since like Jeff Ketron? Since him.
Catch.
I don't know. Last game when me and Matt and the gang were there, the DC fans were just calling for Nathaniel Hackett's job during the game. So
Catch on
Nathaniel
field was
Hackett.
stubborn
Did he
the
get
last
picked up
like he
as
used to be.
OC?
yeah, he's a Jets OC.
Maybe that's the job he wanted all along.
Oh, see, homecoming's in August, isn't it, Matt?
Yes, I believe that's correct.
All right, Dan, you could not only come out to play some football, but we could also go to the DC CV game if it's homecoming. I don't know if that'll be the homecoming game again.
Oh, it will be. It's always a homecoming game. They just alternate what team is considered home.
All right, go SaberCats. Go SaberCats.
I think SaberCats were the home team last time because they got more tickets. So DC will be considered the home team this time.
I'll just wear my my red Teddy Bridgewater jersey. I'll fit in.
I will come out there on behalf of the United States Coast Guard and do some hometown recruiting and go wear my uniform in the area high schools and try and get people to join the Coast Guard after high school. That's the thing. It's a program.
Dan, they'll just
They'll be like, the ocean's not here. I'll be like, I went to this high school and we can make you like those people. You've never seen the ocean? Join the Coast Guard.
yeah, but Dan, you got to lead with something better. Like, hey, I heard Russell Wilson's terrible. Do you want to get away from him? Something like that.
Okay.
I'm still on old Matt's thunder tonight. So, Dan, how do you feel about the Dolphins draft, though?
Draft. I mean, our draft was getting Jalen Ramsey. Our draft was getting Tyreek last year.
So good.
Yeah. Still.
And then Jets, do you think they improved with a quarterback?
Yeah, but I could see him do really badly.
And then go to Minnesota next year?
Yeah, drive the Jets directly into the ground.
Well, then he'll go to Minnesota, but unlike Favre, I don't know, will he throw that interception?
What, Chuck?
Remember how bad that Brett Favre pick was?
Which one? The Green Bay one against the Giants or the Saints one? Because the Saints one, it's worse when you look back on it, knowing that the Saints defense was targeting his head and trying to like make him leave the game.
Yeah.
The Giants one was just a bad pass when he was in Green Bay.
Yeah. The one. Yeah.
What do you want?
I mean, let's be honest. If you look back at his stats and stuff, he doesn't look as good of a quarterback as what we have now.
Yeah. All right, so let's pick it right now. Brendan, who do you think? 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Bills 1, Jets 2, Dolphins 3, Patriots 4.
Ty, what about you? 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Bills, Pats, Dolphins, Jets.
Matt, 1, 2, 3, 4.
I'm gonna go Bills, Dolphins, Jets, Pats.
All right, Dan.
Dolphins, Bills,
Where did that?
Jets, Patriots.
Hey, Matthew.
I'm gonna have to say I agree with Dan. I think Dolphins, as long as Tua's healthy this year, they finish number 1. Bills will be number 2, but it honestly might fit them better in the playoffs going in as the number 2. More of a wild card. They don't have all the expectations, and maybe they end up in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but the worst thing is he's now a concussion protocol type quarterback now. Any hit to the head could do it for him.
I did hear he thought about retiring.
You can't open them both at once.
Dan, who's your backup quarterback? Mike White. That's not too bad. He played pretty.
That might be your last one, dude.
Or Skylar Thompson again. At this point, we almost beat the Bills in the playoffs.
Right. All right, Matt. Do you have any final words for Russell Wilson?
Russell Wilson can he can go to the Canadian Football League for all I care.
He's not even giving the USFL or XFL. He's going straight to Canada.
Yep, straight to Canada.
But Matt, should he attend any Denver Nuggets basketball games?
Yeah, don't bring the Mile High Curse to basketball. It was already bad enough in one place.
Ty, are you going to lock him out of the arena?
Yeah.
Brendan, do you have any thoughts about Will Levis being better than Russell Wilson?
He would have been better.
Is it lagging or what was that? You two glitched out for a second.
Yeah, you're lagging now, Ty.
You there?
We're still here. Are you here? Ty, did Russell Wilson get you? Run! Get out of the house! Oh, no, Matt's gone quiet, too. He might have. Matt, are you still alive?
Yeah, I'm alive. Russell Wilson
Dude, the
ain't got
screens
me.
were frozen. Did you guys glitch out for a minute or what?
No, I think you were glitching out.
Hey, where's Matt? Has Matty not been in the chat the whole time?
No, he's been here.
Yeah, I just had I've been moving
might
around
be
a lot,
because-
so I didn't want that to be a distraction, so I just left the video off.
I was distracted because you weren't.
Hang on a second, guys. Yeah, because I'm away from the Wi-Fi.
So,
my cell
Matt,
phone.
do you rank Will Levis above Russell Wilson?
Oh yeah, for sure. Russell Wilson's like quarterback number 35 on my list right now. I think I'd take Stedham over Russell Wilson.
Would you take Jamarcus Russell over Russell
Yeah,
Wilson?
give me Jamarcus Russell.
There
Give
you
me
go. Must be the
Give me
strength of the
Ryan
Wi-Fi
Leaf. I'll take
connection.
Ryan Leaf over Russell Wilson.
All right, Dan, how do you feel now being subjected to this?
So we got who else is ahead of Russell Wilson? Malik Willis.
Every other starting quarterback is above him, including his backup quarterback, Stedham, is above him.
Matt, would you take Pat
Brett
White
Pippen
over Russell Wilson?
over Russell Wilson.
You're gonna ask me right now, dude. I take Uncle Rico over Russell Wilson.
Uncle Rico.
Dude, I'll even take Bobby Boucher over a Russell Wilson. And Bobby Boucher's not a quarterback.
Singing Adam Sandler from.
So, Matt, are you saying Russell Wilson is the worst starting quarterback in the NFL right now?
Right now, yes.
Until he can prove it differently, absolutely.
You just read my mind. I was about to say the same thing.
Brendan, do you feel the same way?
I mean,
Or is it Kyle? Or do you think Kyler Murray's worse?
Wow.
Definitely
Still out for
worse.
Seattle. That's scary.
All right.
I don't know.
So,
I don't think he's the worst, but he definitely. I don't know. He
all
needs
right.
Hold on. I got a quarterback that Russell Wilson might be better than. Hold on.
All right.
Oh, God.
Dan's doing research.
Should I be nervous?
Matt
No,
is
you
not.
won't be that nervous. I think you will agree.
I don't know if Matt will agree. Matt, did they boo Russell Wilson when they showed him on the screen?
They never showed him on the screen, so
Just
think-
on TV?
yeah, just on TV. They didn't even show Sean Payton or Peyton Manning.
Do you think they did that on purpose?
Probably they didn't want to have people get distracted, but they did show the Panthers beating the Bruins, and the arena got extremely loud. So it's safe to say the Avs fans were not cheering for Boston at all.
I mean, I'd be happy if Florida won it.
There is one quarterback
We just beat Toronto tonight.
that Russell Wilson is better than.
Who?
Kendall Hilton.
Oh, the Broncos wide receiver that played run quarterback?
Hinton. Kendall Hinton.
Kendall Hinton.
Matt, if you had to choose
Good guy,
between the
dude.
Broncos emergency quarterback, Kendall Hinton, who started, or he didn't start, Philip Lindsay started, and then Hinton had to play. Would you start Hinton or Russell Wilson?
Well, I would have to say Henson, because I don't even think he attempted a pass in that game. Everything was a handoff. So I want to see what secret weapon of an arm he has. Because, I mean, you got to remember, he did play quarterback in college and in high school. So
That's true.
he's got some skill set there. So
Yeah,
I'd still give him the lean, too.
right. Because if you do know that if Russell Wilson threw a pass, it would probably be picked off. So
Yeah,
you don't know what you had with Hinton.
exactly.
We're going to be like the least liked sports chat in Denver.
I don't know. Until Wilson proves himself, I think a lot of Bronco fans are on board for who the heck is this guy? He can sell his number 3 merchandise in Seattle or something.
I don't know, because during the draft, people were like, "Oh, thank you, Russ. Thank you for giving us all these good players," you know. And there's Bronco people out there like, "Remember who gave you that Super Bowl?" And I was like, "The defense."
Yeah, well, obviously, when the game is in Russ's hand, you see what happens. Instead of giving it to your best running back, who would have easily slammed it in there for a touchdown, he throws a pick. It's like, oh my god!
Behind him, he threw it behind him too.
Yeah, and it was what, a 1-yard pass. I mean, come on! I've got a kindergartner at my school that could make that pass.
All right, Matt.
It's sad when you can say that.
Matt is throwing all. This is what we were missing during the draft. We had our Will Levis love, but we did not have Matt to talk Russell Wilson.
Don't get those Vikings kickers, man. I tell you what, they we'll never win a Super Bowl just because we don't have a kicker. And if we
Matt,
we got a 10-star kicker, they would become a 1-star on our team.
Yeah, but Matt, if you had Blair Walsh, to win the game for you or Russell Wilson, who would you take?
Give me Blair Walsh.
All right, so Matt is just full in on this one. No, but I remember game 1, they were calling Seattle fans like not good fans because they booed Russell Wilson. And then how long did it take for Denver to boo Russell Wilson? Like a quarter?
Third quarter of the first game.
Not even. It wasn't even halftime before he tanked.
Man, they boo all quarterbacks. He thought New York was going to be tough.
Yeah, Seattle won that game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
17-16.
I do think what people don't realize, in Denver, like I said, Denver's my sports market for my hockey team and my, godforsaken lousy baseball team. But Denver is a very tough sports town to play in, especially in the role of quarterback. I mean, you had Elway and
Well,
Manning.
and a lot of
that's
it accounts for the altitude being mile high. You see half the teams that come here, they have oxygen masks by the end of one quarter.
Well, I'm just saying that it's like playing in New York. Like the New York media eats these sports players alive. I mean, look at some of the quarterbacks they've had that just got destroyed. Denver will eat you alive if you don't complete passes the way Elway and Manning did, and it's as simple as that. They look at every quarterback needing to be that guy. Otherwise, they will take you out to the trash. Everyone else. Because look at Jake Plummer. Jake Plummer was a really good quarterback. He was a quality quarterback, and the Bronco fans hated him. They booed him.
And he flipped off the crowd.
Yes, I love that about him. Way to go, Jake Plummer, for standing up.
Is he still playing handball?
I think he actually signed on as a role with the Broncos this offseason. He's going to be a special informant to somebody in the front office.
He should go back to the Cardinals because their uniforms are almost as bad as when he played for them.
No, they were better when he played for them.
No, Kyle Orton wasn't terrible when he was here, but he did do better with Chicago.
Well, so did Cutler.
But even he was better than Wilson is now.
What about Tebow time? How do we explain that era of Broncos football at quarterback?
I'll explain it by telling you the story of a fan. I won't say the fan's name, but they were sold on Tim Tebow jerseys. Tebow was the next star quarterback. The minute they got Peyton Manning, who cares about Tim Tebow? Get him off the team.
My Tim Tebow memory was the Jets Thursday night game. I was at that game. I was not a Broncos fan, but that was really dope.
I have shoes on. I'm not barefoot.
Matt, Tim Tebow or Russell Wilson?
Tim Tebow.
Tim Tebow to the
At least
Marius
he's a game
Thomas
manager.
for the win. Rest in
Matt.
peace to Marius Thomas.
To think he's a New York Met.
Yeah.
Kind of disgusting.
Matt, do you remember when the Denver Broncos sent an in disguise University of Wyoming, and they made him sit right next to us? Oh God! Did Russell Wilson get you? Are you still here, Matt? I think he got abducted.
So when Russell Wilson says something like Broncos country, let's ride, is Matt not on board with that?
I don't know. Matt's not talking. I hope he's okay. Matt.
Yeah, we're good. What's up?
Okay, we were worried. Dan was wondering if you're on board with Let's Ride.
I'm sorry, if I'm on board with what?
Denver country. Or
Russell
Broncos.
saying let's ride.
Oh, no, Dan missed this. Matt earlier said he was glad that they didn't say Avs country, let's ride.
I don't know. I think, catchy cliches like that and today's sports.
As long as he doesn't say Nuggets country, let's ride, I think we're okay without a Gene.
Has he gone to a Nuggets game yet?
Yeah, he goes.
Has he gone to the Nuggets playoff series yet?
Well, do you really need to say something like that? I mean, how would you like Nikola Jokic to come out and be like, Nuggets country, let's slam dunk or something?
That just
It's a
sounds.
corny
Just
catchphrase.
saying.
I don't
Just
think
hearing
any
you
other
say that is
sports
awkward,
person
dude.
says that.
And the fact that they were like filming commercials about it, like with a green screen, like did we ever see that commercial?
No, I don't think so.
They just air it.
Well, I
Sorry, you can't
remember
even come up for one with the Avalanche.
yeah,
even with their biggest
Subway cut like his commercials.
Yeah, because he wasn't performing on the field. What about what was his alter ego? What was his name of his alter ego?
Mr. Unlimited.
Mr. Unlimited. I'm unlimited. Oh my god. Didn't he change his logo slightly?
Yeah, it's different now, I think.
The R is now like slightly different.
Oh no!
Mhm. But Matt, going back to our Wyoming game, do you remember when they had that guy that was clearly a Broncos fan, like telling them to pass the ball, even though they rushed for like 400 yards that game?
Yeah, he kept saying, "This is not working. Throw the ball." And it's like, dude, are you watching the game?
Yeah, like one running back had 100, the other had 300 yards on the ground, and they were like steamrolling the other team.
All I know is the beer song came on, and I was in my happy place.
The beer song, play the beer song.
Here we go. Russell Wilson last year, 16 touchdowns, 11 picks. How does that compare to Daniel Jones' numbers?
I would take Daniel Jones over Russell Wilson.
I mean, I don't know, Dan, if you were, since you're not in the Denver area, but it got so bad with like how many touchdowns he threw, like in week 14 or 15, he still had more bedroom or bathrooms in his house than he had touchdown passes. And the media made sure they told everyone that too.
Okay, so he had a very similar season to Daniel Jones, but he also had 6 more picks than Daniel Jones.
And those picks cost him games. I mean, the Indy game, they didn't even have to kick the field goal. They win.
And he threw a pick.
Yep. A wide open pick, too. All right.
I just felt like Broncos country did not ride with him.
I mean, we're kind of getting the same this year. Matt can attest. Now it's Sean Payton hype, so we'll see. I have a little bit more hope for Sean Payton, though, but it all comes down to, can he fix Russell Wilson?
And what have they done? They drafted another weapon, a wide receiver.
Matthew, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
No candy. You can't have candy or sweets.
But we've almost gone 2 hours, so I will say let's end it here.
No more.
And let's come back for what? The Stanley Cup? Is it Stanley Cup or NBA Finals first?
Oh, Stanley Cup.
Okay. So we're going to come back, give our predictions for the Stanley Cup. And then, Dan, any final thoughts about the draft?
Jeez, Boomer.
No, I think we'll leave it with that.
Will Levis.
No.
Brendan, I know you were disappointed that even though you got a lot of Georgia Bulldogs, you cannot get the quarterback of the future, Will Levis. But any final thoughts before we end off? Do you think that Tennessee Titans blanket is going to mean more now with Will Levis?
Probably not.
All right, Ty, Houston, did they make a mistake going C.J. Stroud over Will Levis?
No.
Oh, man, you guys are not committing to this bit.
Dude, no. I mean, there is one thing similar with those two. They have the mobility and they have the arm strength. I think you can't go wrong with either one, but I am disappointed that Levis didn't go first round to anybody. But
Should have been the Colts.
you couldn't have gone wrong with either of those two, Stroud or Levis, no matter what.
Now, Matt, we already know your feelings.
Houston needs everything, so at this point, I think they were willing to do whatever they could.
Right. Now, Matt, we already know your feelings. I mean, you already said Will Levis over Russell Wilson. I know you guys didn't get Will Levis, but how do you feel about the draft?
I mean, I feel pretty good. I think having, a wide receiver that can be matched up with Justin Jefferson helps take some of that double pressure off of Jefferson. Now teams are going to have to figure out which guy you're going to double up on, and you hope that it pays off for the best. I do see Minnesota having a wide receiver threat, and Cousins hasn't been a horrible quarterback. He's been fairly accurate his career, but he doesn't show up in the big primetime games, and until then, the Vikings aren't going to do much. I mean, I want to see Cousins get the big games, the W's, and
Matt, primetime Kirk Cousins or Russell Wilson?
Why is that a question, dude?
Matt went quiet.
Hey,
That's not exactly a question.
Vikings Bills Super Bowl. Who loses again?
Vikings Bills. It depends on if you're playing inside or outside.
But Matt, primetime Kirk Cousins or Russell Wilson?
Oh, Kirk Cousins all day. Russell Wilson, like I said, he's like down there. He's got some proving to do here.
I mean, he teamed eye to eye last season with Justin Jefferson. So, Steelers wasn't seeing a ton, but it's mostly Kirk and Jefferson.
Yeah, personally, I think the Seahawks had a great draft. Devin Witherspoon got a nice third wide receiver now, some good defensive help, a backup halfback. Unfortunately, I do have to give it a 9 out of Will Levis because only one team got the Will Levis grade, and that was Tennessee. So, second highest draft grade we could give Seahawks. Brennan, Philadelphia, on a scale of 1 to Will Levis, what do you give Philadelphia? Obviously, you can't give them the full 10 out of 10 Will Levis grade.
Right. I would say 8. I question the quarterback pick in the 4th round, but I think otherwise, you got good defensive depth because of your older guys getting up there, and you got a good weapon or a good running back to help replace Miles Sanders, who you left. So I think there was other ways we could have spent the few picks we had, because I think they only had 5 this year, 6. So, but
yeah. My question for you is Jalen Hurts a top 5 quarterback at this point?
Top 10, maybe, not top 5 yet.
I mean, yeah, because you got to think you got Will Levis, you got Lamar Jackson, you got Burrow. Who else should we put up? Maybe Pat Mahomes, maybe Bennett.
But the scary part about everything is Dak Prescott is the oldest quarterback in the NFL of 8 years.
Dude, I would put Justin Herbert right after Mahomes with the way he plays right now.
Whoa, Tyus. Are you saying Herbert is better than Josh Allen?
Joe
Burrow?
Allen's, dude, right now, Allen, no offense to Mahomes, but he's better than Mahomes.
Whoa, Matt, how do you feel about that? Number 1 quarterback on your fantasy football team?
Nah, Allen's number 1, but Herbert is number 2.
Who's your backup quarterback? Oh, it's Burrow. Huh?
Yeah, I have Burrow and Allen.
Jeez,
Burrow's
that's such
a darn good quarterback. It's just you can't, just because he's been in the league a year, you can't throw Jalen Hurts into the top 5 category just because of who he is. You can't.
Best one in the E, or he's best one in the NFC.
No.
Way better, Geno Smith.
Come on now.
No.
You're in probably one of the what's normally one of the weakest divisions in football when it comes to hurt. But
Well, no, I just asked because the NFL released their top 5 highest paid quarterback lists, and I chimed in and said, and not one of them are a top 5 producing quarterback. And I got lit up by Philly fans. Like, well, where the heck do you have him on your list? And I said, well, he's top 10, not top 5.
Do they have?
The
Is
other
Russell
guys-
Wilson top 5?
Well, yeah. Well, no. It was Aaron Rodgers, Watson,
And then
Hurts, and 2 other guys who are irrelevant. But
That's what I
wow.
want to see.
Russell Wilson is now out of the top 5.
well,
highest
Russell
paid.
Wilson, I think, has another year. I think he's still like 40 something, and then
Then he
like in
jumps up
year
to like
3 is when he
60.
jumps up to like 58 or 60 million a year.
I was gonna say at this point, Russell Wilson wouldn't even crack the top 25.
No, he will because they can't trade him pretty much.
I know, but I mean,
Or
if you
cut
look
him.
realistically,
But Ty, on a scale from 1 to Will Levis, obviously Houston can't get that Will Levis grade. What do you give him?
what do I give who?
Houston.
I mean, it's like I said, they need everything, but at this point, I give them a 7 out of 10, just with what they acquired, because it's kind of a rebuilding process right now. So,
And then Matt, 0 or 1 0. 1 to Will Levis. What do you give Minnesota
What, in the draft or just overall?
in the draft?
good draft.
I mean, obviously not Will Levis, so
We'll go with a 7.
a 7. And then Dan, again, 1 to Will Levis. What do you give him?
The Who.
Miami Dolphins. The Who. Yeah, the band The Who, Dan. What do you give them?
The Who. I mean, we weren't really about this year's draft.
Come on, Seattle.
Why not give him a Will Levis?
All right. What?
A Will Levis?
I think Seattle did good. 9. Can't be a Will Levis though, so no Will Levis. Which I would feel pretty conflicted if a UK Wildcat ended up on my favorite team.
You
Those
say you
games
feel offended,
conflicted.
conflicted?
Yeah.
Offended.
I might.
Dude, the connection's so bad out here in Marshall.
I will say though, the rivalry games between U of L and UK were insane. Like they were burning couches on people's yards.
Oh, Matthew, you get the fitness.
But yeah, that's where we will end it, guys. Thank you for turning out to the live. If you're watching us live, I know 31 of the NFL teams are pretty disappointed that they didn't end up with Will Levis. But I think the most part, those teams at least had a pretty good draft. And if you guys want to see more cool sports chat, you can click that link to your left. You can check us out on YouTube Music. This podcast will be on YouTube Music going forward, so pretty awesome. For more Culz Paranormal, click that link to your right. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. And let us know on a scale of 1 to Will Levis, how did your favorite team do? See ya.
Peace out.